Hey guys, and welcome to the first music, album review of this channel. Y'all voted between Coastal On by Slaughter to Prevail, The Surface by Beartooth, Life is But a Dream by Avenged Sevenfold, and Excursions by C418, and Excursions was the one that won. Very interesting, choice for me to start this, album review series that I want to do it at least occasionally, because this is an entirely instrumental album, so it's very interesting for a first-time review, but I did my best. Anyways, just to give some background story behind this album, first thing I'd like to mention is that this album was made on a MacBook, and it was made in a lot of cities. I'll put the cities on the screen right now, because this list is from the back of the CD release, which I do own, because I love this album. And this album clocks in at 1 hour and 41 minutes, making it his third longest album behind 148 and Minecraft Volume Beta. I mean, literally half of the songs in this album are over 7 minutes. And also, the cool thing I just love about this album is that every single song smoothly transitions into each other, which makes it very fun to listen it front to back. But anyways, enough rambling, I'm gonna go right into it. The backstory behind Excursions is that it was going to be a track for a game, but C418 decided to fine-tune it into the intro for the album. He thinks it's a great way to begin the album, and I do too. One consistent thing with this album is that each song would start up slowly, then the percussion would hit in, and then you got this cool song. For this one, it does start up slowly with a synth and string section with some wave splashing and birds chirping sound effects in the background. The melody is slow and calming. Around 4 minutes in, a harp-like sound is added, but disappears not that long after. Excursion seamlessly transitions into Cold Summer. The background synth and bird noises from the previous song are continued in this one. Then some synth bass comes in. A few seconds later, some percussion comes in. And I don't really know how to describe it, but there's this sound that plays right before each element that's brought in. Here's a clip of it. And by 3 minutes in, we have the main melody. After Cold Summer, it goes right into TXL. TXL is the shortest song on this album, only being 2 minutes and 18 seconds. The song has the simplest and shortest melody, obviously. Near the end, some clicking noises come in so that it could go right into the song Tingle. Tingle was the most unique one so far, just in terms of sound. Just listen to it. Around 2 minutes in, the percussion suddenly changes. After that, we go right into Baton. I think that's how it's pronounced, I may be wrong. Baton starts off with the synth. The synth is by itself until about 40 seconds in when an atmospheric noise is added. There's also a bit of bass. Then, the percussion comes in. The percussion has a very unique sound to it. The synth melody disappears, then at 2 minutes and 20 seconds, a completely different melody comes in. Four minutes in, we switch to a more ambient sound. Then a couple seconds later, the unique percussion from earlier comes back. And by 5.5 minutes, we're back to where we were. Everything fades out by the end, so we can go right into AMS. AMS is the second shortest track of this album, only being 20 seconds longer than TXL. AMS is a more chill, mellow track. It feels like a transition track to prepare you for Thunderbird. Thunderbird is an absolute behemoth of a track, totaling 13.5 minutes. It's C418's second longest song he's ever made, just 1.5 minutes shorter than his longest song, The End from Minecraft Volume Beta. It gets its name from Thunderbird Coffee in Austin, Texas. I love this part 4 minutes in when it builds up and then the percussion hits. This is definitely my favorite track of the album, and the funny thing is that it's the second longest song on my main playlist, just behind Exist by Avenged Sevenfold. After the long 13 minutes, we head right into Aviva. With Aviva, we are now at the halfway point of this album. It's another one of the shorter ones of this album, where it's only 3.5 minutes. It fades perfectly into Figure 8. Figure 8 is the second longest track in this album, running at nearly 9 minutes. Some parts of the song really remind me of Minecraft Volume Beta, like the creative mode songs, but then there's also parts like this. After that, we go right into Fake Triplets, and I'm gonna be completely honest, I don't have much to say about Fake Triplets. Next song is Nest. I love the sound of its opening. It sounds like a mix between Minecraft ambience and like something you would hear in a Super Mario Bros. Like water level, if you know what I'm talking about. Then, this just happens. According to C418, Nest is meant to be more of a ode to tracker music, if you know what that is. You can really hear it in the main melody that sounds kind of 8-bit. And I just love how it turns into a completely different song 3 minutes in. I mean, C418 said it's essentially 2 songs combined into one. We are now at the 12th track, Home. Home's opening sounds very menacing. I guess you could say. Like, it's something you'd hear in the, like, Nether soundtrack stuff for Minecraft. Then about halfway through, it gets a little more peaceful sounding. The track is very ambient, and it was actually meant to be the end of this album. I mean, this is literally the track that the CD ends on, but I think that's actually meant to be more of like a space issue, because CDs have a limit of 72 minutes, I believe. But like I said, this track was actually meant to be the end of this album, but unfortunately C418's music publisher around that time leaked the album. And because of that, C418 made 4 new tracks: ATX, Leak, The President is Dead, and Hope, which add an extra 20 minutes to this album. Now for these tracks, I'm going to go over them really quickly, so let's begin. Starting with ATX. It's like Home, where it's ambient and doesn't have any percussion. The next one is Leak, and you could probably guess why he named it that. It has a chiptune sound to it, and it's a very fun sounding track. After that, there's The President is Dead, and no, this is not based off of any president. C418 stated on his Discord server that it's a reference to a film soundtrack. The President is Dead is probably one of my favorite tracks off of this album. I love how it goes from a fun and upbeat song to a mellow and chill ambient sound. And we end this album with the actual final track, Hope. It's a 3-minute track that is a very nice end to this album. Like Home, it's an ambient and percussionless track. So that's the end of the album. This is probably amongst my top 3 favorite C418 albums. And yeah, I own, like I said earlier, I own this on CD. I also own it digitally through Bandcamp, and then I also have it on my Spotify playlist and all that. But yeah. So, yeah, anyways, hope you liked this video, and goodbye.